Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the Kaga, which is the Japanese tier 8 premium aircraft carrier. We're looking at that because I have recently done the Great Battle of Midway event that they brought out, which was a weekend of combat missions where once you finish them they gave you a day lease of the Kaga. I figured what better time to make a video about it than when I get it for free, right? So we're going to have a look at it, we're going to see what it looks like, we're going to see what the stats are on it, and we're going to compare it to the Shokaku, which is of course its normal tier 8 tech tree counterpart, if you like. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, and guys, let's start by looking at the Kaga. As you can tell, it's a lot taller than Shokaku, which we will be checking out in just a second for comparison. The camo that comes with it, it's rather nice, very pretty in fact. I love the symbol and the design on the runway itself. The ship looks very proud. It's a very much a Japanese no-nonsense style kind of build. I love the just sheer size of the exhaust on the right hand side of the ship. You know what you get with this carrier. It is very much a no-nonsense, does what it says on the tin. And it's got a really kind of nice charm about it as a result. I love the Japanese line for the design style and choice. It's very much not really too bothered what it actually looks like. We've got stuff to do, we've got job to do, let's just crack on and get it done. So I'm a big fan. It makes me smile whenever I look at it. So yeah, the Kaga so far, quite impressed with the way it looks. Let's take a look at the Shokaku for comparison. And here we have the Shokaku, the tier 8 tech tree counterpart to the Kaga. As you can tell, a much lower ship. This one actually has two smaller exhausts on it opposed to the one huge one on the Kaga. This one looks, I don't know, it's interesting. It's very flat. It's not very tall, it's very flat. It looks almost like it's trying to be a bit stealthy, even though it's not. I have a huge amount of love for this ship. Very almost at the tier 10, so I've played with it a lot. I like it. It's so charming. I think I actually prefer this one to the Kaga, just on looks wise. If we're judging it by looks, I do. I think I prefer the Shokaku. Just there's something about this ship. This carrier has a massive place in my heart, and it would take something very special of the same tier to make me prefer it, honestly. So I'm probably a little bit biased, but do let me know in the comments down below which one you prefer the look of, whether you prefer the more sleek style of the Shokaku or whether you prefer the very tall and proud nature of the Kaga. Okay, so we've had a look at the ships and their aesthetics. Let's have a look at the nitty gritty, the modules, the perks that you get for buying the Kaga, and just which one on paper at least is better. Is the premium ship really much better than the tech tree, or is it just that they are different? Personally, before getting into it, I think that they're just different. I think that they've got different strengths, and obviously the bonus that you get with the premium is the extra credits and things that you get from their peculiarities. But honestly, on paper at least, I'd say they're pretty much even. They're very much tier 8 ships, you know? So, it is worth noting that, as you can see, I haven't actually put any of the upgrades on the ship, purely because 1, I don't have any credits, and 2, it is only a day release. There's no point in pumping money into the upgrades, in my opinion, if I've only got the ship for 24 hours as part of an event. So, let's have a look closer detail at what the peculiarities actually are. The first one is that because it's a premium ship, you can actually put any commander on of your choice with no penalty for changing them from a different ship or from having them being dismissed from someone else's. This is really cool. This means that if you have a high up commander, like say I do on the Shokaku, you could transfer it straight across to the Kaga and not have to worry about waiting for the experience, which is kind of nice. The XP in the ship can totally be turned into free XP, which is pretty standard for most premium ships. More credits per battle, which is always nice, and you get yourself a nice camouflage, which we've already looked at here. So they're the peculiarities. Words are hard. What about the actual stats of the ship, right? So if we look at the hull, you get 54,200 hit points, 1 to 152 mil armor, 18 secondary guns, and 22 anti-air mounts. That's not too bad. That's pretty fair. From what I've seen of the Shokaku, which we will actually have a look at in a minute, we will do a direct comparison. The only difference really is that this has got a little bit more HP. You get less you get less AA mounts for more secondary guns. But we will actually check that in just a second, just to confirm. Then you've got your attack aircraft, which have 1,330 hit points, maximum speed of 184, 2 planes per attacking flight, and 8 in the squadron. Now again, it is worthwhile noting that I have, on the Shokaku, filled this out. Like, I have put everything on the Shokaku. As a result, the base stats are a little bit different. So I'm fairly sure I get more attack squadron. I think my hit points on the attack squadron are actually higher as well. So it's worth noting that the upgrades that you buy with it will adjust those stats. You also get 4 rockets per payload. Maximum rocket damage is 2200. The restoration time is 99 seconds, which is quite high. And you've got a detectability range of 10 kilometers, which isn't too bad at all. With 24 aircraft on the deck in total. The torpedo bombers have a hit points of 1600. Maximum speed of 173 knots. So they're quite a bit slower than the attack aircraft. 12 per squadron. You got the 91 mod. And 1 torpedo in payload. Maximum torpedo damage is 5400. With a restoration time of 90 seconds. Detectability range of 7.5 kilometers. So you got to be quite close to be able to see them, which is not a bad thing when you're going for torpedoes. And you get 36 of those on the deck. The bombers are 1,580. So I think that they are, the mid. So they've got a fair amount of hit points for them. Maximum speed is 182 knots. 4 attacking flight. 12 per squadron. Type 90, number 50 Mark II. 1 bomb in the payload. 8,800 maximum bomb damage, which is pretty fucking hefty. 71 seconds restoration time, which is really actually quite nice. It's not very long at all. Again, 10 kilometer detectability range and 36 on the deck. Maximum speed is 28 knots. They're not bad stats. Obviously, if you put all your upgrades on, you can improve each of those. But overall, not bad stats. Let's have a look at the Shokaku and see what the differences are and try and determine which one is actually better. Because again, if you're going to be paying for a premium ship, you want to be making sure that you're getting your money's worth, right? So this is my Shokaku. This is my Shokaku fully modded out. As you can see, I am very close to getting my tier 10. So the upgrades I've actually added on are the Air Groups Modification 1, which gives me a 20% increase in returning speed for the aircraft. The Aircraft Engines Modification, which gives an extra 10% boost time when I'm boosting speed. I've gone with the aerial torpedoes modification, which improves the actual speed of the torpedoes themselves, which is incredible. The HP increase the attack aircraft because they tend to be the ones that I go out with spotting first. So a little bit of HP boost on them is never a bad thing for me personally in my playstyle. And then the flight control modification, which gives me minus 5% to restoration time and an extra 2 per deck. So those modifications aside, because they do affect the stats quite heavily, we'll have a look at the modules and see what the differences actually are. So I've got the Shokaku B hull on. So I've got 51,400 HP, which is actually less than the Kaga. It's got 6 to 215 mil of armor. Now, again, it is worth bearing in mind that I have got a commander with 13 points put into the Shokaku itself, which also does affect the stats of certain things. This has got 60 AA mounts and only 8 secondary gun turrets. So I get more secondary guns on the Kaga, but less AA mounts by quite a hefty margin. So that's kind of the balance off. Overall, though, they're pretty similar. There's not really much difference in the hull, at least. The attack airplane are much faster. And they have a lot more hit points. But again, I've got the hit point modification on, so that is worth bearing in mind. The maximum speed, though, is quite a difference. And honestly, that is kind of a defining factor for me, especially with the attack aircraft. They need to be quick for doing what I'm doing with them, which is spotting and then trying to get in to get the destroyers when I'm trying to take them out. The damage that they do is fairly similar by the look of things, and the restoration time is much less. I don't think the upgrades really affect it that much. It's only 5%, but you're looking at a 30 second differentiation. However, it is worth noting that you get a lot less aircraft on the actual deck. So I think that's a good balance, because with the Kaga you start with more planes. So that makes a huge difference when it comes to that, and that's going to be the same across the board. What I do find is with the Shokaku, because the aeroplanes have less health overall, you tend to find that you're running out of airplanes about mid-game. Mid-game you tend to start running out of planes and have to kind of sit around and wait for them to respawn a little bit. Again, that's due to my overactive and overly aggressive playstyle, but it is worth noting. Same with the torpedo bombers. I think that overall, yeah, the squadron is larger on the Kaga, and again, a lot more planes on the deck. The maximum torpedo damage, though, is much higher with the Shokaku. And again, the aircraft restoration time is a lot less in the Shokaku than it is in the Kaga, but again, you've got more planes on the deck, so there's that worth noting. And then here, it is also worth noting that the speed of the planes on the Shokaku is a lot higher. The planes are much faster on the Shokaku than they are on the Kaga. And also it looks like we get more in the attack flight by the look of this, and the damage is pretty similar across the board. 69 seconds restoration time. Detectability range looks pretty much the same as well. So again, the upgrades that I've got have affected it. They're fairly close and well balanced out. Again, it really is the peculiarities that really, on paper at least, make it why you would choose a premium ship. Personally for me, At the minute, at least, I'm still liking the Shokaku. I actually haven't had the chance to take the Kaga out yet. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually see what it's like in action, and I'll say which one I prefer. Again, these are all my own personal opinions and just what I've seen from looking at each individual stat. I am still fairly new to the game. If you think I'm wrong, or if you have any comments of your own, please do leave them in the comments down below. But for now, let's jump into the Kaga and see what she can do in battle. Alright guys, so this is the Kaga, this is the attack aircraft, and we're going to go from there, and I'll have a look at each of the types of aircraft, the differences between this and the Shokaku, and then I'll give you an overall which one I would rather use, whether I think that the Kaga is worth the money, and just my general overall opinion. So far, the style of the planes, each of the planes from the Kaga look absolutely bloody incredible. I really like the sheer amount of planes you get on the deck. It alleviates a lot of the, oh no, I'm in a Japanese plane, I'm going to lose all of my planes to Titans. It really doesn't matter that much because you know you've got a lot in backup. That being said, you do immediately notice, especially if like me you don't have that many credits to pump into the upgrades, just how much of a difference the upgrades make to your ship. As a result, on the surface at least, the Shokaku is maintaining present course, better for the basics. With my build that I've got in it, the upgrades that I've put, the commander build, etc. The boost I get is quite obscene, the amount of time it lasts. Add to that the actual extra speed I get from each of the planes, make them really versatile and useful. However, as you're about to see with the torpedoes, that doesn't matter so much. The amount of torpedoes you get per run is just kind of broken. There's no other word for it. It's just broken. It's beautiful. I get 4 torpedoes per run, which is really nice. Normally you only get 2 in the Shokaku, so it does make a world of difference, especially if you get a full torp run, which hopefully we're about to here. The amount of HP you get per plane is not ideal, but the fact that you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get a hit off of anything is really nice. That being said, I'm going to be really cheeky and see if I can't hit something there. I'm not. That was awful. Massive disclaimer, I'm not very good at the game. Okay? I love the game. I can give my opinions on the game. Doesn't make me any good at the game. Just bear that in mind. So far, yeah, the rockets, they're a bit underwhelming. If you do get a hit with them, they don't seem to do that much damage. The torpedoes, if you can get a good few runs at them, especially late game when the ships have dispersed a little bit more and you don't get shot down quite so heavily by AA, they're really fun. The bombs, I don't know. I don't know whether they've officially done something or whether it's just I've got worse. But I've gone from the Ryoju with just 2 bombs being able to pretty much get a sit hit every time I go in, to the tier 8s and not being able to get any hits at all. The accuracy just seems way off, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if it's just me, if it's getting used to the fact that there's more bombs, but I have the same issue on the Shokaku all of a sudden. That wasn't too bad. We got a fire from it, which is not something I'm used to. We'll go in and we'll see if we can get another hit. But overall, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Whether it's worth the money, I mean, all the stuff that you get with the premium ships. So you get signals, you get, you know, you get your 5 million credits or whatever it is. You get some doubloons with it as well. Personally, when I look at the price of each of the ships, it does make me go a little bit. It does make me take a sharp inhale, because they can be pretty pricey. However, if you're a carrier player, I can see it. I can see it being worthwhile. Would I pay for it? No. Do I still prefer the Shokaku? Biasly, yes. Outside of the torpedoes, the amount of versatility that I have with the Shokaku, because of the upgrades I've got on it, and I haven't had to pay to get those boosts. Yeah, it's going to take a lot for me to consider anything else, honestly. Taking fire. I don't think they're going to hit. No, that was awful. That was absolutely awful. Overall, though, it's a good ship. The event where you got it was actually quite fun. The challenge wasn't challenging, but the time constraint made it so. But yeah, there's my thoughts and opinions, guys. The Kaga, a lot of fun. Nice to try for a day. I wouldn't be buying it myself, though. You would have to put so much into it to get it to work to a level that I've got the Shokaku to work for me. And as a result, I can't justify the price, because you've just got to invest more time in it anyway. So there you are, guys. Please feel free to leave comments and your thoughts in the comments down below. And make sure to catch me on Twitch, streaming 6 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Sunday. I do stream a lot of World of Warships, so feel free to come and say hello. Tell me where you found me. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Ciao, ciao.